Hello and welcome. My name is Stacey Rivera and I have the best job in the world. I'm the digital content director for Food and Wine and for all of Meredith Food. And I have the unbelievable pleasure of being here today to introduce you and make terrible noise to Chef Geoffrey Zakarian. As you know, because you're here, Chef is an accomplished author and restaurateur and television host. We love him on The Kitchen every week, but we are most excited to see the return of Iron Chef and see him bring it here right now. So welcome, Chef. Good luck.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you all hear me? So who arrived yesterday? Yeah, did you have a couple drinks last night? Feeling a little shitty? Watch out, this will get you. You add Advil and Motrin and water. That's all I can tell you. So, with that being said, the other thing to do for a hangover is to have a cocktail as soon as possible. So I'm going to make something here. I love cocktails, this is a summer theme. So we're doing a summer cocktail. So what I try to do on The Kitchen is we have a segment called Kitchen Cocktails, and we try to do something that is everyone can make, because anybody can throw at you stuff that you can't make. And today's demo is the same way. I want to do something you can make, you can really make, and then you can ask me questions so it's not just about me cooking. Is that a deal? Sure. Okay. I want you to ask me whatever question you want to ask me, and I'll do the best to answer. So thank you for coming, first of all. I love Negronis. Anybody know what a Negroni is? Yes. It's like Italians, it's the Italian version of, I don't know, a Manhattan or martini, I guess. It's made out of the Holy Trinity, which is sweet vermouth, gin, and Campari. That's the Holy Trinity. We are making a white Negroni. We're going to change everything up. We're going to use, in place of the gin, rum. In place of the Campari, Suze. Everybody know what Suze is? Yeah, this is, no one knows this. This is amazing. It's made from the gentian root. It's a French aperitif. And the aperitifs are just, I think aperitifs make everything. And they're becoming now so popular. So we have another one called Cocchi, which is an Italian. It has this incredible bark in it that makes it very like quinine tasting. So this is going to replace the sweet vermouth, okay? So, very simple. Shaker. And I'm sorry I'm not making this for you. I'm making it for myself. Fill up some ice. Usually a Negroni is garnished with a nice lemon peel. I'll make one. Why not? I don't want to be too much. It's only 10 o'clock. Okay. 1, 2, 3. This is for measuring. 2 ounces, 1 ounces. Suze. Rum. Yum. Touch of simple syrup. And we shake that, and that is a white Negroni. Don't always shake too much. Remember, when you shake a lot, you're breaking the ice. And when you break the ice, guess what? You dilute the drink. No dilution. I mean, doesn't that just look like the Amalfi Coast? A little slice of lemon around and in. Cheers. Okay, pasta. I know, it's easy, everybody does pasta. Well, no one does it right. I'm just going to say that, okay? We have our water here. And the reason why I'm going to get through this right away is because in Aspen, if you don't live here and you don't know the altitude, this dish takes twice as long to boil. It's really amazing. I made risotto. I was in a friend's house in Meeker for a couple of days in Meeker Valley up here in Aspen. And I made risotto. I said, I'll make risotto. There's 12 people. And it took like 18 minutes. It took like 45 minutes to make a risotto. It was like ridiculous. So I'm just going to show you that this is the best way. I got that. Don't worry. I'll clean up. I like clean up my own mess. Don't worry. So the altitude, especially in baking, is so important. You have to get it down. Otherwise, forget it. So like a 6-minute egg takes 12 minutes. No lie. So, okay, FYI. So into this pot, we have, there was a wives' tale And the wives' tales, there's a lot of wives' tales with pasta. And I always talk about this. It's really important because this is one of the dishes I want you to do. Remember I said you can do this dish. Any questions so far before I start? Come on. That is a request, not a question. Yeah. Because wise guys, so you're hungover and you're sarcastic. I like you, actually. I like you. Okay, so you can actually cook this pasta. You can do like a pasta tomato. You can put water, a 1 inch of water, throw the pasta in there, throw the tomato, the onion, the basil, and everything, and cook it. And in 12 minutes, you'll have a perfect sauce. It's one of these one-pan things. It's like a trick. We're not going to do that. Water, boiling, salted, and I'm salting it, okay? I know. The last one really gets everybody. No olive oil. Never put olive oil. It's a waste of olive oil. This pasta never sticks. It'll never stick ever. If the water's boiling, it won't stick. Pasta. Never break pasta. Okay? Ever. Okay? Just put it in like this, and we're going to let it cook. We got that? Put a little bit more. Any questions so far? Simple stuff, right? Yes. Do you have a question back there? Or you just... What? Oh, where do I start? Do you want to see broken... Have you ever tried to twirl a half a piece of spaghetti? Okay. A hot pan. This is how you cook clams and mussels. So you know you go to those places, and they have these pots. And the pots are like small, cute pots, and you have a mussel place, and they're like this, and they're tall. And they put the mussels in there, and they put wine, whatever, and they bring it to the table, and you eat them like that. I don't like cooking mussels like that for the simple reason is, or clams, because what happens is the mussel on the bottom's great. It's great, and the mussel on the top's not cooked. And then it switches. The mussel on the top's great, the mussel on the bottom's uncooked. Same for clams. So we're doing clams. So this is linguine with clams. One of the best summer dishes in the world. Extra virgin olive oil. Stop me for questions. I can't see you, so you have to shout. Questions so far? Yeah. Whatever the box says, take it down a bit because they're trying to sell you pasta, right? Like with like who here washes their hair and repeats? And if you do, you're really foolish. Or you're rich. Or both. Okay, into the pan, olive oil. And then a little garlic. Well, a lot of garlic. Sliced, I like it sliced like this. Okay, there's a lot of ways. If you look at, you Google or you YouTube linguine with clams, there are probably 20,000 ways to make it. It's just a ridiculous amount of ways. Okay, little hot pepper, pepperoncini. And, oh, it's the best. Okay, so while the pasta's cooking, this is how I like to do it. Now, this pasta is going to take a little longer, so it's not sticking. You see that's not sticking? And I like to have tongs. I don't rinse pasta. Why don't you rinse pasta? Anybody? The what? Yeah, you want the starch. The secret to pasta water is every time we make pasta, we have the pan here and we have a ladle and we take it right out of the pasta water in our sauce because it's full of starch, correct? And it's full of a little of that salt, so it gives it flavor. Question so far?
Chef, how high is that flame?
Well, it's very high now because it's Aspen. But no, honestly, you don't want it to be like crazy high because you don't want to burn the garlic. If you burn the garlic, it's not good. I mean, it smells good, but it doesn't eat well. That's a great question. More questions while we're cooking.
The olive oil part, the difference between regular or extra virgin, how do you know which one to use?
You can use olive oil. This is extra virgin because, it's all free, and why not? You paid a lot of money for these tickets, so we're gonna go crazy. Generally, I don't. That's a great question. A lot of you see chefs on TV all the time. They're using extra virgin olive oil to saute. That's crazy. I'll tell you why. Avocado oil I really like for sauteing. Avocado oil has a huge smoke point. We say smoke point. When this starts to smoke, while I'm talking, I'm going to take that off. When the oil smokes, is what it's a smoke point. So olive oil is like 300 degrees. It's very low. It's very fragile because it's not filtered. It's just olives pressed once. So extra virgin olive is it's the first pressing. Virgin olive oil is the second pressing. Olive oil is the third pressing. And then they take the rest and they mix it with other oils and sell just for like cooking oil. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's how it is. So I would use just regular oil because it's expensive. So that's a very good question. Any other questions? It's a great question so far. Next question.
Do you always cook that dressed up?
You have a problem with that? No, this is not Armani. This is Boglioli. Anyways, okay, so clams. Okay, so very, very important. I mean, this dish has 4 ingredients, but they all have to be really good. So we have the linguine in. We have garlic, pepperoncini, and olive oil, right? So far, so good? And I'm actually talking at the same time, so you know it's not that hard. You can actually do this. But it's important to have the water boiling and all the stuff in front of you so you're not searching for it, okay? So the clams, these are manila clams. You can use little neck, manila, mahogany. These clams are British Columbia, East Coast. They're found everywhere. You got to wash them. Nothing ruins a linguine with clams in the summer than sand. Okay, you want to be on the beach. You don't want to eat the beach. So basically, you have to wash them. And a couple of ways to wash them. You rinse them out in the cold water. And if there are any that come that aren't opened, like it's obviously these are all closed, which means they're fresh. They should smell like the ocean. Like if you picked up ocean water and smelled it, that's what it should smell like, okay? And if it's open and you click it on the board, it should close. If it's not closed, you throw it right away before you cook it. We got that? Any questions about clams? No? So smart. Okay, so we're just going to take this. So the reason why I put these in a pan like this big is because I want these to spread out. You see that? Okay, that is what you want to see. If you pile them up, it's going to be a real pain. We're going to cover them. Well, we're not going to cover them. I want you to see the process. So they're going to start to cook. And then we're going to put a little bit of, no salt. They're really salty. We're going to put a little bit of white wine, all right? Now you're going to ask me how much. That's about a cup. Depends. If you're making a big batch, you can put some more. This is the secret. This is clam juice, okay? Could you get me a large cover for that? This is a clam juice, right? You can buy it. They have really good clam juice, but just a little bit. And what we usually do is sometimes we'll buy a lot of clams, and we'll make clam juice. So we'll open it up and just get the liqueur. It's called liquor, okay? Clam liquor. We're going to take this, a little bit of clam juice, and this is going to make the basis. Thank you, Matt. We're going to cover this and just let it like steam. This is going to steam quickly. Well, not in Colorado, but it's going to steam quickly. And what's going to happen is this is going to be enough for a family of 4. What happens is every clam is going to open at the exact same time. Got it? Okay. So we're going to test our linguine and see how it's doing up here. That's a great question. Only cook with wine you would drink. Seriously, because I tell you, a low-quality wine, once you burn off the alcohol, it leaves you with low-quality essence, you know? So only box wine's okay, but get some inexpensive Chablis, inexpensive Sancerre, inexpensive Chardonnay. If you're gonna you can get wine $5 or $6 a bottle. It's great to cook with, but you have to be able to drink it. Okay? Great question. Next question while everything's cooking. How do you what? You have a wall in your kitchen?
He also has a wife.
I'm done. I'm done. How do you know when a pasta's cooked? That's a great question, actually. I'll tell you. Did you see what I just did? I mean, I could guess it, but why guess it when you could just taste it? So I would say that this pasta has 2 minutes to go. You always want to be late with the pasta. So you want to have this ready first. And then the pasta taking, you can take this off the heat and set it here. So you're actually, what I like to do is do this step, and you're going to see it right in live time, which is, I think, really helpful for everybody. And I bring this to the table. And sometimes I do it with two small handles on it, not a long one. You just put it on a towel on the table or on a trivet. That's how you eat pasta. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why it's hot. So the pan keeps everything warm. The size keeps everything, everything's cooked the same. The clams are perfect, the sauce is perfect, the pasta's cooked perfect, and you look like a hero. Okay, let's check. So that has 2 minutes. Questions in the meantime? Yes? Best way to what? Best way to purge the sand. Oh, I didn't say that. I'm sorry. That's a good question. I always ask them to clean it. So you should ask for them to clean it for you. Yeah, they say they're pre-washed. They're pre-washed by someone who really doesn't care whether you get sand in your mouth. So you got to wash them. What I do is I put them into the water, and some people put cornmeal. They pour cornmeal in a big bowl of water and let them sit. And what that does, supposedly, is the cornmeal purges the clam, because the clam's a bivalve. They suck water in and they spit it out. So the cornmeal irritates them, and they clean themselves. So I never saw that happen. Maybe we need a clam whisperer, but it sounds so great, doesn't it? It's like putting a cork when you cook an octopus. Okay, let's take a look at this. So you see, I gotta tell you, this is exciting. See, they're just starting to open. So I'm gonna take the top off, and how beautiful they look. So you see, can you see this? 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna go through them. We're going to go through them and make sure that anything that is unopened at this point is dead. What does that mean? That means you don't want to pry it open and eat it, okay, because there's plenty of clams. So you always buy a few more clams. I say always buy 15 to 20% more than you need, because it's not going to be that much loss. But you might taste one, and one might get funky on you, and you don't like it, and that looks great. That looks great. So I'm just going to cover 1 second, and then I'm going to go to my pasta. Question? I never. The dozen, right? But obviously, this is, some people take the clams out of the shell. I actually like it in the shell. I mean, if the clams are out of the shell, you need like 500 clams, because it looks so, it looks scrawny. You know what I mean? It's like a little, what is that? So this is going to the table, just like this. Another second, and we're gonna start our pasta. So our pasta should be cooked. Let's taste it again. Let me see how long that's been. 15, 20 minutes. Almost. Questions?
How do you do your job and maintain your seasoning? How can you not weigh 300?
I'm glad someone asked that question. It used to be, the paradigm used to be, never trust a skinny chef. Well, it's just true. And that's really completely changed. I think you should really trust a skinny chef, because a skinny chef, or a chef that is not, obese, like, the caricature of a chef is Ratatouille. You see the chef, 3 chins, 4 breasts. I don't think we want to be that. Whether we're a chef or a doctor, no one wants to be that. So I think you have to really, the good thing about being a chef is you have the opportunity to eat whatever you want at any time and drink whatever you want at any time free. So it's kind of a cookie, in a cookie jar all the time. But you also have the opportunity to eat perfect. So I watch what I eat. I go to the gym every day. It's not easy. It's no secret. And, anybody that knows me is like, I work out. And so you have to. And when you get older, you got to watch your calories. It's calories in, calories out. End of story. So you have 2 glasses of wine, it's 250 calories. You have 4 glasses of wine, there's your lunch. I mean that for everybody, not just me. So if you have 4 glasses of wine at lunch, you're in the tent, then you have lunch, you have a 1,000-calorie lunch, you shouldn't be eating more than 2,000 calories a day. Max. And so if you don't know that, if you don't control that, you're not going to be successful with and if you're in my business, you're going to be really unsuccessful. So it's a great question. I get asked it all the time. But I think that chefs now are starting to figure that out, right? And they're starting to cook better. So we're cooking better, we're cooking lighter. We're still eating pasta because, there's nothing wrong with pasta. nothing wrong with bread. Jesus Christ ate bread, you know. He looked good for a few years. Boy, I'm going to get some mail on that one. Okay. Yes?
It doesn't seem like you're rapidly boiling the pasta.
This is Colorado, bro. Welcome to Aspen. It should be like this, right? Well, you can take that up with God. I knew this. There's always one of you in a crowd. Please. Yes. These are great questions. Really, I'm having fun. I'm Armenian, and we're very, you know, look at these open. And I'm going to take them off for a second while I answer the question. We love Middle Eastern people, Italian people. I mean, I grew up with my grandfather, my grandmother, my aunts cooking, and they cooked everything from scratch. So at 4, I was spoiled. I mean, I was a snob at 4 for food. Everything was fresh. Tomatoes, ketchup, yogurt. We didn't eat out. We didn't eat out. Everything was made from scratch. So when you grow up like that, you think that's what everybody else eats until you go to a friend's house and they have Swanson. So I really fell in love with food. I fell in love with that eating. Breakfast, you talked about lunch. Lunch, you talk about dinner. Dinner, you talk about breakfast. That's what it is. It's all we did. There was always food, something on the oven. The oven never shut off. It's impossible to believe, but everything was cooking all the time. Whether it was pies for tomorrow, yogurt was, you know, we call it madzun. It was all over the radiators. We'd have radiators with milk on top with a towel. And so you bump into the yogurt, you drop it. Oh, sorry. That was the week's yogurt. So you grow up like that. You naturally gravitate toward hospitality. So I love this business, and it just like, it chose me, really. I didn't have much to do with it. But that's a great question.
Everything's better with butter. Does it hurt to throw a tablespoon of butter in that at the end?
You know, I'm going to do just that, maybe. Here's the pasta. Linguine. I like linguine. Okay? Why would you drain it? You don't need to drain it. So, and we're going to take our tongs, and then we're going to add. So as this is going down, we're adding what I love to say is this, just the finish. And the finish is a little bit of butter. Now, this is very controversial. A lot of people don't put butter in. I like a little. And a boatload of parsley. Okay? And just be careful. So the pasta is al dente, so it's about a second or 2 to cook. And so what's going to happen is the butter and the oil and the juice and the pepperoncini and the wine are all going to have a happy, happy time. And they're just going to suck up just a bit. The clams are cooked perfectly. And you see everything is flat like this. So when I present it, it's going to have a drizzle of olive oil, and then you're done. Okay? I'm actually put it on a plate, but you don't have to. I kind of like it like this. Question while this is finishing.
Can you use dried parsley?
No. Who here has bought dried parsley in their lifetime, other than you? Really? Why? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good answer. It's just dry stuff is good. I use all kinds of dry stuff. Bay leaf is great. You know, dried thyme in a regional Mexican area. Obviously, I'm just playing with you, but dried parsley is one of those things. It's just, I think they had leftover parsley. Like, screw it, let's dry it and sell it. They'll buy it. We have people in Aspen, I'll buy it. That's what happened. That's why the sales are so great. So no, don't use fresh parsley. And don't use curly parsley. Curly parsley is great, but it's great. When I grew up, we used it for tabbouleh. Secret, because it's a little harsher. It's almost like kale. Flat leaf parsley, Italian parsley, it's called. It's a couple names for it. It has that real beautiful grassy, leafy flavor that is like, without it, it's nothing. Great question. Huh. Yes?
I was working with Martha Stewart on Chopped.
Oh. Oh, I'm going to talk about this in a second. We'll talk right now. Okay, are you ready? So should we put it in the, leave it in the pan? Leave it in the pan. What is this fancy stuff? Okay, the finish. Extremely expensive extra virgin olive oil. Cheese? Oh, more parsley, fresh. And there you have linguine with clams, white Negroni, a perfect summer combination. That will feed 4 people. In real time, it actually works. So from start to finish, that was 29 minutes. So about 16 minutes a pot. It's actually much faster than I thought it would be. Okay, Martha Stewart. What was the question?
How was working with her on top? And how is she?
Well, I'm going to start hanging around with her more now she's going to get pardoned. But I usually don't hang around with felons, you know. Oh, boy, my media. Sorry, honey. My wife's going to yell at me for that one. She's, what can I say about it? She's 75. Let me just go through her life. She's 75. She's worked on Wall Street. She's been a model. She's published 90 books, 90. 86 are bestsellers. She has 19 Emmys. 19 Emmys. She's not being up for an Emmy. She's won 19 Emmys. She sort of has every category: bedding, bath, garden, kitchen, table, party, cakes. I mean, pets. And she's an incredible woman. She grows her own. She grows her own seeds in a seed house, plants them for the summer, and then replants them on the ground. And that's her garden. She actually does this. There's no. She's not it's no BS. It's real. So when you work with someone like that, it's like she knows her shit. So, and she will call you out. So there's no governor, right? It's like, this is what it is. This is what it is, and it's so refreshing. Working with her, it's so refreshing because she just answers the question. If you ask her like she was at her house, the producers say, well, can you say something nice? She says, no, I'm just say what I feel. Isn't that wonderful? Wouldn't everybody be like that? You actually would know where you are, right? You know where you stand. And you could fix it or choose not to fix it or fight it, but it's nice to know where you stand. That's why I love working with her. And on Chopped, it's like, it's a long show, so we sit for 12 hours. Okay, so last week we were working together. So we call it at 6 or 7, and then we get made up, and at 8 we're in the chair, and we don't get out until 6 o'clock. And so it's not like it's not a cakewalk, and she's right there like 12 hours with you, eating all that awful food. Ask me what we had last week. Can I say this? I can't say it. Damn.
What's the worst thing you've had?
What I had last week. We had pickled pig's rectum. I'm not lying. It's already shown, so I can say it. It'll air. They're 6 months out, but it was. And Marcus Samuelson, who's I think has something here this afternoon, was one of the judges. And when we saw the sheet, it was Bizarre Foods. It was like an Andrew Zimmern thing. It was worse than rectum. Okay, just think about that for a while. Anyways, what was the next question? Yes. We make all our pasta in our restaurants, and we use mostly fresh pasta. And the reason why is timing. So if you're doing a pasta that's fresh, you can do any type: spaghetti, rigatoni, farfalle, anything you want, gnocchi, fresh. It's great for a restaurant. The reason being is a 3-minute pickup. Meaning, if you say, fire the farfalle, 1, 2, 3, have your sauce. The same thing I did, little pasta water, toss, butter, cheese, in a plate. It's 3 minutes. So to do all dry pastas, 12 to 16 minutes, the timing's more difficult because you're timing with other people, right? So it's very hard. So it's not because fresh is better or dry. It's just great dry pasta. I love dry pasta. I actually almost prefer dry pasta. And dry pasta holds up to like heavy things like eggplant and mushrooms and things like that have some density to them, okay? Great question. You got a question in the front, didn't you? No? Did you answer it? Next question. Yes?
How often in Chopped are food really not that
Every day. Next question. It's always awful. What, this? Nada. This is the meal. You have your fish. You have well, it's not, you don't need to have vegetable with every meal. This I would serve with a crusty garlic bread, you know, probably rosé or white wine, verdicchio or something like that, really cold. And if you want to have a first course, I don't know, salad, like arugula salad with Parmesan, something, this is supposed to be simple. This dish probably cost, I'm going to go out there, $15. Serves 4 people. The drink, this is cheap, not expensive. So you can make food really delicious really quickly. We just did. So there's no reason to spend that kind of money, but this is so satisfying. When you eat this, you're like, oh, great lunch. You know, you can have it dinner, but it's a you know, at lunch it's a first and it's in one and only, but I think at lunch you have 1 course, right? Unless you're really hungry. Yes?
What food trend are you excited to see die?
They've all died. Trends die. Right? What food trend have you not seen that didn't die? Molecular, over. Some people still hang on to it, you know, all that stuff. The 40-course meals, all those long 3-hour nap, you need a nap between dinner, you know, like, you go, there's no one here that can't tell me on the 17th course you're not asleep like this. So that's going. Thank you, right? Avocado toast. Well, avocado toast has been around forever. We're just starting to like it. I mean, I like it. Of course, now it's if you don't see an egg Instagrammed running in avocado toast, it's like but it's still gonna be around, right? Like roast chicken's around forever. So there's a lot of trends. I mean, they just go. Some of them come and go so fast they don't even register. But anything that really is expedient and isn't real goes. It's fun and happy, and it has its 2 minutes in the sun, and everybody goes, should we do that? Should we be doing that? Should we put that on the menu? Like poke, you know, poke. I mean, that's age-old. That's been around forever. I mean, now it's these poke bowls. I mean, if you've ever really eaten a poke bowl, it's just cold lettuce with cold tuna. It's not very satisfying. And the reason is when you eat food, if it doesn't have a smell, if it doesn't smell some caramel or garlic or there's no memory. So you're just eating for sustenance, you know? So all those chopped things and those salads, you just shovel them in. You're feeling good because you're eating good, but in reality, if you put dressing on it, it's 700 to 800 calories. So it's you know, you got to be careful when you eat those. I'm in a salad bar, I'm feeling healthy. You got to be careful. So the trends come and go. That's why they're called trends. Yes?
What's your favorite restaurant in New York besides your own, and who's your closest chef friend?
Are you recording this? Oh yeah, you got a camera. Let's answer the first question while I ponder the second. Everybody here doesn't. You don't eat the same thing every day, right? Or maybe you do, but I don't. I mean, I like something different every day. So if I want pizza, you know, there's so much great pizza in New York. When a pizzeria Napolitana is back again in New York City, down the Village, thank God, one of the great pizzas in the world. If I want like a really innovative Japanese, I don't go to a bar with 12-course tasting. Like I just said, I can't afford 3 hours and I don't want to do that. But I'll go to Bond Street. It's more fun. It's really great atmosphere, great vibe, and the food is great. There's so many great restaurants in New York City. It's hard to say that. You know, I think Buvette in the Village is one of my favorite places. Just to have a great lunch, snack, afternoon place. It's a sexy little Parisian bistro. It's as big as this. This is it. So it depends on what it is. But I don't go to temples. Rarely do I go to temples. If I go with special occasion, like Mother's Day or something like that, we'll pick like a Per Se or a Danielle and stuff like that. But I can't eat like that anymore. I just can't. It's just too much. It's too much time. It's too much food. So I like simple, casual stuff. I'd rather go to Barbudo and have that and a roast chicken any day. Good question. You have it?
Is there anything that you dread cooking?
Did I what?
That you dread cooking?
Dread cooking? You know, everybody loves, I'll tell you stuff I don't like. I mean, I cook stuff I have to cook. I eat stuff I have to cook. Obviously, I'm on Chopped. I mean, most of the stuff in that basket I never eat because it's all processed. It's and some of it I've never heard of, you know. Really, I've never heard of it. To me, it's a great education, that show, because I see stuff that I can't believe people eat, and it's been around forever. It's just another culture, so you can't, like, judge it. It's just no one has ever brought it to light. But the great thing about Chopped is everyone now knows what it is. So the glossary of the American public that watches that show is really, oh, yeah, I know what that is. Man, I know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, you know. No, it never, 25 years ago, it was like, wow. It's like a rarity. But there's certain things that a lot of chefs like that I don't like. And I kind of keep it under wraps. But since you're asking me, I'll tell you. Like, I'm not a fan of bone marrow. And like, it's great looking, and people love it. But it's really, you're eating like gelatinized hemoglobin with garlic butter. I'd rather have snails because there's a taste to them. So I'm not a fan of like food that is like 50 or 100-day aged steak. I just don't get it. I mean, it's, you know, it's steak that's aged until it putrefies. So 30-day aged steak to me is fine. Like 100-day old, it's like a lot of people now have 100-day aged steak. It's just so, it's almost, you can't, it's so smelly. And the same is like Wagyu. Wagyu, eating A4 Wagyu is like eating a stick of butter. And it's just so, it's so heavy. You have one piece and you're done. So a lot of those things that are so ultra rich and things like that, I'm not crazy about them. I don't like to cook them. They're not on my menus. So I want people to eat, when you come to my menu, you know, a lot of people say I make the menu, you know, you're supposed to make the menu for the guests. I actually make it for me. I do. But I know what the guest wants, but I make it with my taste. I want it yummy, I want it delicious, and I want it to have a great smell. Because if you don't have a smell to food, you won't remember the meal. You'll never say, I had this most amazing salad. Right? Okay, we have time for one more question. By the way, these are great questions. Even if you're, oh, what was that? Okay, sorry. What was the second half? Oh, my favorite. I have a lot of, I've been cooking in New York City for 38 years. I arrived in 1981. I've been blessed, and I mean that, to work under the greatest chefs and not even know it, because back then, like, we didn't know. And to work in France. But as far as friends, guys that I just hang around with, probably contemporaries, probably like Marcus Samuelsson, without question, Scott Conant. Alex Guarnaschelli and I are like definitely spirit animals of each other, I guess. I feel. Amanda Freitag. Who am I missing? Mr. Flay, of course, because I've known Bobby for so long. He's 50-something years old now, and he started a little place called Miracle Grill. And we were both in New York at that very early time, so you know, we trade war stories because so much has changed since 1981, 82 in the city and food scene. So that's the question. I don't have a favorite. I have lots of favorites. Is that good enough? You satisfied with that? Check that. Your question. Who's the last question? Okay, 2 questions. Yes.
I'm a dessert person. What's a good dessert for this?
Simple. A creme catalana, creme caramel, a beautiful gelato. So this is rich and garlicky and stuff like that. So to satisfy this, I would have like a fagato, like a scoop of vanilla ice cream with a double espresso, right? Or a sorbetto, something really light. That's what I would do. Simple. Don't get complicated. Or like an olive oil cake, or yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I've always been curious. Shows like Chopped or Bonflay or any of those, do the contestants have an idea?
No. No. Iron Chef, any of the shows you watch, no one has any idea what's in the basket.
Do they get a tour of like the kitchen?
Yeah, because you got to show them where the Cuisinart is, where the ice cream machine is, where the KitchenAid blender is. Right? No, seriously. So you have to know where everything is. Otherwise, when you're running for the butter, you know where it is. So everyone asks me this, do you know what it is when they lift the thing on Iron Chef? I'm like, no. They do send us a list before the season begins. Is everybody happy that Iron Chef is back, by the way? July 1st and 13th are my battles, by the way. You want to mark it down your calendar. Food Network. We get a list of stuff at the beginning of the season. It's almost like a joke. It's a list of, these are the ingredients that you're going to be battling with. And it's like 200 ingredients. So it's like, what do you mean? Let me just throw it away. Because it's like, out of 200, how are you going to guess? If you're doing, like, I did 3 battles this season. There was 10 battles. I did a third of them. How are you going to guess 3? So they're so radically different. It's like vodka, spinach, It's almost like they're just like, you know, a little stab. So we don't know. But we have so many people. I have such a great team that when we can pretty much cook anything, that's what we're supposed to do. And when we see it, there's one of two directions. It's like, okay, it's a piece of fish. So a piece of fish, when you know you have fish, you know you have different ways of cooking. So there's 3 ways or 4 ways to cook a fish, so that you have that. And then you have to work in something, you're doing a crudo, or you're doing something that's charred, or you can incorporate a pasta. So we think on the run of what we're going to do, and beforehand, we have some things in our head, like, well, we have a great ravioli recipe, or a great this. If it can work, we'll do it, right? And sometimes we just make it up because we don't know. And sometimes we'll do courses that aren't necessarily. I like to cook meals, like a little small amuse, a first, a second, a third, and a fourth, and it's 5 courses. But sometimes it doesn't work. It's just too hard with an hour. So, but no one knows, and that's why it's awful, because that's the problem. So, and the food department, who chooses this, is a different department. It's like the FBI. No one talks, no one tells you, and you don't know what's happening. That's the food basket. One more question.
Do you get to choose your pantry on Iron Chef to bring in extra stuff? And if you do, what is in yours?
The Pantry on Iron Chef is probably the greatest pantry known to chefs. It's pretty much everything there is. So I have a few spices I like Forum Chardonnay vinegar is one of my favorite vinegars. It's made with verjus. I love that. But they pretty much know from the first battle what everyone likes, and they put it in there. So all the eight Iron Chefs have all their favorites. So it's pretty, you know, in an hour, it's not like you're going shopping. You know, you're just glad it's over, you know. Okay, what was it? Who's the person? Yes.
So I'm curious. Like you hear all the time on the shows the judges saying, "Oh, that's a tough dish to cook," like risotto, for example.
Yes.
What would you say is probably like number 1, number 2 toughest dishes to cook all time, and why?
On what show?
Just for you personally, you think is like one that's just a bear?
Anything that's lean. So anything that has no fat in it and takes like a pork shoulder, elk, stuff like that. That's like has to be braised or cooked in a pressure cooker. And a pressure cooker is a hard thing to like wrangle in 1 hour to cook pressure cooker food. So those are the hardest thing. Anything else is like making ice cream, baking, all that stuff seems hard. We do it so much. It's really not that hard. And I like to do a cocktail with almost every course. And it's refreshing because as they start tasting your food, they get drunker and drunker. And you know, the 4 becomes a 5. Thank you, everybody. Have a great time. You've been a great crowd. Appreciate it. Have fun.